Hello everyone, it's Seastorm and welcome back to another video. I'm redoing my 4 main Wings of Fire characters reference sheets, because the old ones were old and also because Art Fight's coming up. And so I thought this would be kind of a fun opportunity to do the speed paint for each and also go through a little bit of their lore and personality and that sort of thing. And first, we're starting out with Stardust because he is the first reference sheet that I redid. Alright, let's get right into it. So Stardust is the first dragon that I'm going to be doing in this series. One, because he is just the first reference sheet that I redid, and also because he is the first of my OCs who had a full design, if that makes sense. Like when I made them, he was the first one that had a fleshed out design. I also just want to say that the story for these dragons low-key doesn't make sense half the time, so just please ignore that. There are tons of plot holes, but I don't really care to fix them. Anyway, moving on. So their story takes place a couple of thousand years after the books, and in this plot AU thing for my OCs, Animus magic has come back because the spell faded or whatever that keeps it at bay. And so essentially there's this underground group of dragons that wants all the power on Pyura for themselves. And so the way that they've been doing that is they've been kidnapping powerful dragons and imprisoning them. At this point in my story, the Nightwings and the Rainwings have once again become separate tribes again, and far after that has happened, Stardust is born. He is born under a 3 full moon eclipse, and this is the first time in history that it's ever happened. And so, along with very powerful future sight and mind reading abilities, Stardust is also gifted the ability to see into dragons' pasts, similarly in the way that dragons can have future visions, but also sometimes if a particular dragon is having an influx of strong emotions, if he touches them, he can also see into their past if their past is relevant to the emotions they're feeling at the time. So anyway, the Stardust Dragonet life is relatively uneventful. He's kind of the kid who doesn't talk, who sits in the back of the classroom and stares out the window. If you feel me, that's the vibe. His home life is sort of rough, not traumatic necessarily, but just sort of lacking any particular parental affection. So he isn't super attached to his parents and one day wants to leave and, find a new place to live for himself. Also, from a very young age, Stardust is having visions of this blue and white shiny dragon that he knows he's going to meet one day, and he knows that it's going to be very important to him. That will come back later. So when he is around 7 years old, he suddenly starts getting visions that a purple Icewing is going to kidnap him. He doesn't know what the Icewing's intention is. He has no idea what the purpose of the kidnapping is for. He just suddenly realizes and is having visions that he's going to get kidnapped. So he takes this as a sign to leave his home. This vision was automatically weird, not because he is having visions that he's going to get kidnapped, but because it came on so quickly before the event, which is very odd for him because, his abilities are pretty strong. And so being so short notice was really odd. So he decided that he was going to leave his home. So he goes home and he packs his things. He doesn't leave any sort of notice for his parents, nothing. So as he's leaving the Nightwing Kingdom, he realizes that the dragon is coming today. So he hunkers down in the forest and tries to hide. As he's observing and watching, he sees the dragon fly by overhead, and then she disappears. Poof, invisibility. And he is automatically red flags, because not only is this dragon trying to kidnap him, but she also has the ability to turn invisible, which is not an Icewing thing, if anyone was wondering. So he leaves home, and now that this event has taken place, not that he's actually been kidnapped, but since he's seen the dragon who has attempted to kidnap him, pieces started to fall into place with his visions, and essentially, he started getting more visions because of him seeing this dragon who was going to kidnap him. He then figures out that he was not the only dragon who was, had an attempted kidnapping on them, but there was actually 3 others. And so he sets out to find them so they can all try and figure out what the purpose of this was and what this whole conspiracy is about. The first dragon that he comes in contact with is Seastorm, who is my Sona. Love her. She's the one in the corner. I think I already mentioned that, but anyway. And so first he comes into contact with Seastorm, whose attempted kidnapping has also already happened and she was able to evade it. And he explains to her the situation and what's going on and what he wants to try and do. And she agrees to come along with him. So she also leaves her home to then essentially go solve this mystery of the kidnappings and what it's all about and blah, blah, blah. The third dragon and second to last that they come across, so right now it's Stardust and Seastorm together, they end up meeting Frostbite. And this is the white and blue shiny dragon that Stardust has been having visions about since he was very, very young. And like this meme right here, this is Stardust when he sees Frostbite for the first time. And it's like that moment, and it's also kind of like difficult for him because even though he obviously not only from his future visions can tell that this dragon is really important to him, but he's also seeing this happen in real time, his like essentially future heartbreak. Because as Seastorm and Frostbite meet each other for the first time, he can see that they have some sort of a spark and there's some chemistry between them, and he's like, well, shit, man, this is gonna be so fucked, like essentially. Because he is in love with Frostbite, and he knows that from his visions that that's what will happen, but then he's also seeing in real time that it's never going to happen for him. And then the last dragon that they come across is Flare, but I will get more into her story and also Frostbite's and Seastorm's story when I do their individual speed paints. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.